If you are looking for a straightforward and simple answer to the questions of this video's title, I can let you leave this video safe in the knowledge that Phoenix as a team are far from being the best team in the game. However, they are passable at best as an early game team. For years, veteran players would tell newcomers to the game, farm Phoenix, as the first piece of advice on what to build. But why? There are a couple of reasons. First of all, when 5 Phoenix characters are leveled up to 5 stars, players will be able to attempt unlocking both Emperor Palpatine and Grand Admiral Thrawn. Both Palpatine and Thrawn are long-term viable and, with Thrawn at least, endgame characters that cannot be underestimated, so chasing both of these down early on is a good strategy. Whilst Palpatine only requires any 5 rebels at 5 stars to unlock, Thrawn specifically wants a grudge match against the Phoenix faction he was tasked to hunt down in Star Wars Rebels. If you're interested on how to unlock the Grand Admiral, check out my previous video where I utilised the journey guide to show how to approach the battle with Thrawn himself. It was not just because of what Phoenix can unlock though that veteran players would recommend Phoenix to new players. They're a staple beginner team that help teach new players about leadership and uniques, as well as being an early team that has sustained to help newcomers get through Galactic War. So let's take a look at Hera's Doula first of all, and her and Phoenix's only leadership ability, Rise Together. This ability grants each active Phoenix member's unique ability to other Phoenix allies, whilst Phoenix members also gain 20% turn meter if they use a special during their turn. Now this is also doubled if they have less than full health. We'll come back to the sharing of uniques in a moment, but the key thing to note here is that the turn meter gain. In a game where the team that takes the most turns wins, Phoenix's ability to take turns from specials cannot be underestimated early on. The rest of Hera's ability is fairly straightforward. We have a basic that can expose the healthiest enemy, great for dealing extra damage to enemy tanks, followed by a special that calls an ally to assist, granting that ally extra potency and damage during the attack. Finally, there is a revive special that, if granted to an ally, will revive them at 80% health and gifting them 30% turn meter when they've been defeated. Plus, until they are defeated, the backup plan buff will recover 10% health during each of the 3 turns it is active. Hera truly makes the Phoenix team tick. However, her leadership is key. If she is defeated during battle, her leadership will still allow the sharing of uniques across the team, but if she is taken out in Territory War or Grand Arena or even Galactic War, the uniques will no longer be shared. Whilst taking 2 battles to defeat Phoenix is far from desirable, if you are a new player and a mirror match is not going your way, eliminating Hera can allow you to do a second battle to clean up and eliminate the rest of the team more easily. Now, let's move on to the damage dealer of the Phoenix team, Ezra Bridger. Whilst Sabine is also a damage dealer, and she will be touched on later, Ezra is the more common attacker in the team due to being an easier character to farm shards for. Starting with Ezra's unique, which remember is shared across the team via Hera's leadership, Ezra gains 10% offense at the end of his turn, which stacks up to 40%, expiring when Ezra is defeated. Whilst this is nothing crazy, extra offense for an attacker doesn't hurt, especially when it's shared across the team as well. Now, as for the rest of his abilities, his basic deals damage, whilst there's also a 40% chance of attacking again. This chance is doubled if Ezra has no debuffs, meaning that 4 out of 5 times Ezra will attack twice on his basic ability. His first special, Flourish, can dispel all buffs on an enemy, or if the enemy had no buffs, the ability can be used 1 turn sooner, and Ezra gains 50% turn meter, meaning he is almost ready for another turn. Great for a 1-2 punch on the enemy team. Finally, his second special calls a target ally to assist, and Ezra attacks himself. Both parties deal 20% more damage. As well as this, both gain a bonus based on their class, so attackers gain 100% crit chance, whilst tanks gain 40% protection up for their next 2 turns, whilst support gain 40% turn meter. Pairing Ezra and Hera together is fun with their specials as they can give turn meters to one another, and together they can help to get their team moving just that little bit faster. Now, whilst Hera and Ezra work well together, so do the apprentice and master, Kanan Jarrus. Once again, we'll start off with Kanan's unique, Clear Mind. Another fairly simple passive ability which grants Kanan and his Phoenix allies via Hera's leadership 70% counter chance and 25% health recovery whenever they suffer in a debuff. Now, nothing spectacular on paper there, but in reality is the most annoying part about facing Phoenix teams, avoiding heavily debuffing them. Unless you have a character like Darth Vader that feeds off debuffs, Kanan will keep the team healthy as long as they keep getting debuffed, meaning killing him early in the battle is important. With a basic that applies offense down until Kanan's next turn, a special that removes debuffs from an ally and grants Kanan a taunt, as well as a second special that cleanses debuffs from himself and grants himself and an ally protection up for 2 turns, Kanan is a fairly simple tank in the game, but when in the Phoenix squad, he is a key cog in keeping the team alive. Moving on to the Marmite member of the team in Chopper, both in-game and canon, you'll either love him or you'll hate him. Once again, starting with his unique, Chopper recovers health at the start of his turns and gains protection up whenever he is damaged by an attack, when he doesn't already have protection up. What I would consider a harmful part of his kit, however, is the Omega upgrade, which does start off nice, with extra percentages on his heal and protection up stats. However, it also gives him a 30% chance to assist when other Phoenix or Droid allies use an ability during their turn. This is something that bypasses Hera's lead and is not shared amongst Phoenix members. Whilst this is understandable, as it could be if it was shared amongst Phoenix mirror matches, it would mean that things would become wildly unpredictable. Having just Chopper being able to randomly assist can be unhelpful, as he is not an attacker and he does not deal good damage. I will touch on this more when we discuss Zeb. However, if there is one piece of advice I can give to anyone building up Phoenix right now, it is do not upgrade Chopper's Omega, you will not like it in the long run. Aside from this, Chopper's unique is great, granting another heal on top of Kanan's debuff reliant one, plus some protection up when receiving damage. His basic attack can grant a random buff, one of offense, defense or speed up to Phoenix allies for 2 turns, as well as having a 50% chance to reduce that ally's cooldowns by 1. Whilst not all that noticeable, the buffs are nice and the cooldown reduction can be useful when they happen. His special grants Chopper a taunt, as well as increasing Chopper's evasion whilst he taunts, while his final special removes buffs from an enemy, removes 10% turn meter and grants himself 15% protection for each buff dispelled this way. Droid enemies are also stunned for 1 turn, which cannot be evaded but can be resisted. Overall, Chopper brings a lot of nice defensiveness to the team, helping Kanan shoulder some of the incoming damage whilst also healing up the team and antagonising the enemy team. The last member of what is considered a standard Phoenix team is Zeb. His unique grants him, and Phoenix allies as a result, max protection equal to 30% of his max health, as well as protection recovery of 15% at the start of his turns. Now this is doubled if he's debuffed. Whilst very simple early on, this can be huge for very new players in Galactic War, as it gives them not just protection if they're struggling to push past gears 5 to 6, but also gives them a way of recovering it. Zeb's role in this team though is being the controller, spreading daze and stagger to opponents via his first 2 abilities. Bash is basic, applies daze for 2 turns, stunning them instead for 1 turn if they were already dazed, staggered or exposed. His special applies stagger, plus deals more damage against enemies that are not already suffering debuffs, improving a lot more with the Zeta upgrade. Is it worth it? No. Zeb is only really useful in a Phoenix team, and whilst the Zeta upgrade has some nice perks, when you face a Phoenix team with no Zetas and then face a Phoenix team full of Zetas, you don't really notice the difference in the end with Zeb. His final ability, Honor Guard, grants protection up to an ally as well as tenacity up if they were suffering no debuffs or retribution if they did have debuffs. A very nice ability to round out the faction. Now, whilst I will not be going into great depth about Sabine Wren, she is a Phoenix member and she is usually capable of taking either Chopper's spot in the team if you want more damage, or Ezra if he's needed with other Jedi. Her unique gives herself and Phoenix allies plus 25% critical damage and critical chance. That's nothing too special, although it is still nice. Her basic is slightly complicated by dealing damage multiple times based on conditions. In short, if Sabine lands a first hit and it scores damage, her second hit, which is guaranteed to occur, will score 75% less damage if it is not evaded. Then, if the enemy she targeted has less than 70% turn meter, she will then attempt to score another hit, 75% less damage than the first hit, which is repeated once more if the enemy has less than 30% turn meter. Finally, she will attempt one final hit if the enemy has any debuffs, once again scoring 75% less damage than she was capable of scoring to start with. So whilst this all seems very complicated, to keep it simple, in your mind just think, target a debuffed enemy with barely any turn meter and she'll attempt to damage them 5 times. Her first special inflicts armor shred, which reduces the target's defense by 50% for each stack applied. And then finally, a second special deals physical damage to all enemies, exposes and staggers the target enemy for 2 turns. And the beauty of this move is that it cannot be countered or evaded. Whilst I like her being in a Phoenix team, she seems to have another potential home now with the Mandalorian faction, and although she still works fine with Phoenix, personally if I were to build her up and give her gear, it would be to see if she can make some magic with the Mandos. After explaining the abilities the Phoenix faction have to offer, hopefully you can see why they are maybe still a good beginning faction. With one leader teaching new players about the importance of leadership abilities, synergies that spread across the team via uniques, plus lots of ways to heal the team up and keep the group alive, even now they are a good set of training wheels for a new player before tackling monster kits like Jedi Knight Revan or any of the Galactic Legends. Are they good though? No. As a player farming Phoenix and using them in Arena, Galactic War and your other big game modes, you will just know when the time has come that they're no longer doing enough for you, which is usually very early on. They will not score good damage in raids, they will be easily beaten in territory wars and Grand Arena, although if you take part in Hoth territory battles there is a benefit to gearing them for the 6-star battles on day 5 of the territory battles. A good rule of thumb for Phoenix is to gear them to around gear 8, maybe 9 or 10 for the Thrawn event if you don't want to make things too difficult for yourself. Then once you've unlocked the legendary Chiss, leave them and move on. Applying Zetas to the team are highly discouraged, and whilst I personally have given Kanan and Sabine their Zetas in the past, and recently given Ezra a Zeta due to a Zeta forfeit, I do regret my hastiness in giving these Zetas out. What Phoenix are good at is starting you off, giving you 2 legendary characters to work with in Palpatine and Thrawn, teaching you about squad building and most importantly when to leave a team that is no longer benefiting you. If that's what you needed to know when you started watching this video, hopefully I've answered that question for you. If you have any more questions though, please leave them in the comments section below. If you have a team or faction you would like to know more about, ask me in the comments below and I will work on making a video detailing my thoughts on them and what makes them good or not so good. Also follow me on Twitch where I stream my Grand Arena rounds, and we also do some other live streams for other games that will end up on YouTube, so what you see on YouTube, see if you like it and you might want to see what I'm doing on Twitch on that day. Thanks for watching the video again, hit the like button if you found it useful and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one. This has been Josh from JJ's Productions, and until next time, bye for now folks.